Welcome all to the Nameless channel. Tonight's video will be a little different rather than telling one story. We will be continuing to share true stories from all 50 states. If enjoy this and don't want to miss out on any particular state, please like and subscribe. But most importantly, enjoy the stories. Colorado. First on our journey is the infamous tale of the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. Many know this grand hotel as the inspiration behind Stephen King's novel The Shining. Built by F.O. Stanley in 1909, the hotel is famed for its elegant appearance, yet its halls echo with more than just the footsteps of vacationers. Guests frequently report seeing the apparitions of the early 1900s, including the ghost of F.O. Stanley himself. It is said his spirit is often seen in the lobby, surveying his domain. The fourth floor is notorious for playful ghostly children running along the corridors. And in room 217, a chambermaid named Elizabeth Wilson, one of the hotel's famed apparitions, reputedly still tidies up after guests, folding their clothes and tucking them in at night. Was it King's visit to this very room that spun his tale of terror? Or was the creative spark ignited by the whispers of those long departed? The question remains. Next, we travel to the town of Central City, known during the gold rush as the richest square mile on earth. With its wealth came tragedy, and it seems some spirits were too tied to this world of riches to leave. Of all the ghost stories associated with this town, none is as enduring as the restless spirit of the old Central City Masonic Cemetery, the tale of the Lady in Black. Her identity long speculated but never confirmed, this spectral figure clad in mourning attire has been sighted for over a century, visiting the grave of John Cameron, a local businessman buried in 1882. Each year, like clockwork, she places columbines, the state flower, upon his grave. Who she was to him might forever remain a mystery, but locals are ever curious, and some visitors claim to have gazed upon her, only to watch her disappear into thin air. Now you imagine a small park in the heart of Alamosa. One would never suspect that the Colorado Mountain Park Amphitheater is anything but ordinary. Yet, legends tell of a peculiar ghost, known affectionately as the Lady in Gray. This ethereal figure is often seen gliding silently across the amphitheater, cloaked in her gray attire. Witnesses claim that she seems to be searching, endlessly wandering, perhaps once an audience member swept away by the wind on a stormy night, now forever caught in the folds of time. A short journey away, the streets of Denver conceal tales of the paranormal in its historic district. The Molly Brown House, former residence of the unsinkable Molly Brown of Titanic fame, is not only a museum of one woman's remarkable life, but also a host to unusual happenings. Caretakers and visitors alike report encountering Molly herself, calmly observing her beloved abode. Shadowy figures have been glimpsed, and voices heard in vacant rooms. These stories suggest that, despite surviving one of history's most infamous disasters, Molly ensures her legacy endures beyond the grave. Finally, our spectral journey takes us to the town of Cripple Creek, another remnants of the Gold Rush era where one can find the Palace Hotel. Much like its lavish name, it was once a beacon of opulence amidst the rugged landscape. However, one room stands out to those familiar with ghost stories. Room 32. Known as the haunting ground of a ghost named Maggie, visitors often report waking up to the sounds of laughter and the distinct scent of lilacs, her favorite flower, and witnessing rocking chairs moving by unseen hands. Some claim Maggie was a woman of influence and charm, while others believe she was a performer whose dreams of stardom ended in this very room. Regardless of her true identity, her spirit persists, greeting visitors who wander into her domain. Connecticut. Our journey begins with the legend of the White Lady of Union Cemetery in Easton. Nestled quietly off the highways, Union Cemetery appears as serene as any resting place. But when dusk falls, tales of a spectral apparition draped in white emerge. Witnesses claim she walks the grounds with an ethereal grace, her flowing dress glowing eerily under the moonlight. Some say she searches for her lost child. Others speculate she might be a bride whose nuptial horror pinned her to this world. Documented sightings date back over a century, and her presence has even captivated paranormal investigators, adding a mystique that even skeptics find intriguing. Next, we move to New London, where eerie melodies drift through the corridors of the historic Ledge Light Lighthouse. For decades, visitors and lighthouse keepers have recounted tales of a spirit they believe to be Ernie, a former keeper who allegedly took his own life after a tragic romance. Decades later, there remain reports of doors slamming on their own, spectral figures appearing at night, and the ghostly strains of a harmonica echoing across the waves. Ernie's mischief, it seems, still lights up the dark nights at sea, keeping the legend of Ledge Light alive and well. Our journey into the ghostly haunts of Connecticut would not be complete without a visit to Dudleytown, known to many as the Village of the Damned. Found in the town of Cornwall, Dudleytown's story is a macabre tale of misfortune and whispers of a cursed lineage. Founded in the 1740s, it quickly gained notoriety for strange accidents, mental illness, and a series of brutal tragedies. As the population dwindled, those remaining told of spectral visitors and ghostly shapes in the woods. Despite being on private property today, the tales of its haunted past continue to ensnare the imaginations of those who hear its story. Travel now with us to Burlington, where the Green Lady Cemetery invites both history enthusiasts and ghost hunters. Officially named Seventh-day Baptist Cemetery, it's home to the legend of the Green Lady. Stories tell of Elizabeth Palmiter, who supposedly drowned in a nearby swamp during a storm in the 1800s. Visitors describe an apparition shrouded in a green mist or a woman in a long emerald gown wandering among the graves. Her presence, they say, can still be felt, especially when the air grows still and unnaturally quiet. Our last stop on this spectral tour leads us to the majestic halls of the Oliver House in Middlefield. This stunning mansion, which dates back to the late 18th century, is rumored to be home to restless souls. Guests and curators alike have shared encounters with shadowy figures, disembodied voices, and objects moving without explanation. Notably, the ghost of Lydia Penfield, who lived and died within its walls, is said to drift through rooms, her former home transformed into a supernatural spectacle. Delaware. Welcome to a journey of the unexplained, where the echoes of history whisper in the night and the past sometimes refuses to stay buried. Today, we delve into some spine-chilling true-life ghost stories from Delaware, a small state with a large collection of paranormal lore. Prepare to enter a realm where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs. Our first tale hails from Cape Henlopen State Park in Lewis, a picturesque location with a coastline that stretches out into the Atlantic. But buried beneath its serene beauty is a history of military turmoil and mystery. Fort Miles, once a key defensive site during World War II, is said to house more than just echoes of its strategic past. Local legend speaks of spectral soldiers dutifully marching through the fort's remnants, their footsteps a quiet reminder of their eternal vigilance. Campfire storytellers recount strange apparitions clad in military garb and the sounds of echoing gunfire on quiet nights. Researchers have studied these tales, considering them a manifestation of powerful energies left behind by the tensions and fears of wartime. Next, we traverse to Dover, the state's capital, where the iconic Woodburn Mansion sits. Built in 1798, it has served as the residence for Delaware's governors since 1965. However, this grand home has a history of paranormal activity that extends far beyond its stately walls. Tales of a ghostly man in a Revolutionary War uniform have circulated for generations. This mysterious figure reportedly enjoys a glass of wine, often draining a glass left out overnight without a single drop being spilled. Visitors and staff alike have encountered cold spots and heard disembodied footsteps echoing through the hallways. Is it possible that this soldier searches for something he lost during more turbulent times? We move on to a chilling incident from Delaware's coastal town of Lewis, where the Cannonball House stands. Built in 1765, it earned its name during the War of 1812 after taking a hit from a British cannonball, which is still lodged in its foundation. Today, this historic site is not only a museum, but also a hotbed for ghostly activity. Witnesses claim to have seen shadowy figures moving from room to room. Others hear faint footsteps and hushed conversations that seem to come from nowhere. Investigators have tried to unravel these mysteries, suggesting they could be the spirits of former residents or British soldiers, forever etched into the fabric of this house by the literal and metaphorical bombardment of history. Venturing into the realm of academia, the University of Delaware offers more than just education. It presents a paradox of past and present with its ghostly tales. Old College Hall, one of the university's oldest structures, is home to various specters according to student lore. Reports of seeing a young woman in period dress who vanishes when approached are common. Some claim the eerie sounds of laughter float through the corridors when no one is near. Could it be a student from a bygone era, lost in her own eternal pursuit of knowledge, a spectral fixture in this living institution? Finally, we explore the haunted air of the Cooch's Bridge area, the site of Delaware's only Revolutionary War battle. This location resonates with history and unexplained phenomena. Visitors have recounted hearing the ominous sounds of muskets firing and the cries of soldiers. On mist-laden evenings, some swear they glimpse vague forms of men in Revolutionary War attire, marching with purpose. The combination of history and hauntings here reminds us of the bravery and sacrifice etched into the soil beneath our feet. As we conclude our journey through Delaware's ghostly tales, we're reminded of how history leaves an indelible mark, not just in chronicles, but within the very bounds of space and time. These stories invite us to ponder life's mysteries and the thin veil that separates the known from the unknown. Each tale, a spectral imprint, offers us insights into the past and lets us silently walk alongside those who have come before us. Thank you for venturing into the shadows with us today, and remember, every corner of the world carries whispers of its own ghost stories waiting to be unfolded. Until next time, when we once again explore the depths of the inexplicable and the shadows that refuse to fade away. Florida. Let us begin our journey in St. Augustine, America's oldest city, with a past brimming with stories of restless spirits. The St. Augustine Lighthouse is famous not just for its sweeping views of the Atlantic, but also for its spectral inhabitants. According to legend, the ghostly apparitions of the Petit sisters wander its grounds. In the 1800s, these children tragically drowned in an accident near the construction site. Since then, visitors have reported hearing young girls' laughter, their playful whispers carried by the ocean breeze, mingling with the sound of unseen footsteps on the spiral staircase within the lighthouse. If you ever visit, you might hear their giggles floating through the salty air, or catch a glimpse of a shadowy figure darting past out of the corner of your eye. Moving down to Key West, the strange tale of Robert the Doll adds another chilling chapter to Florida's ghostly history. This seemingly innocent doll belonged to a local boy named Robert Eugene Otto in the early 1900s. Over time, the doll gained a sinister reputation. Visitors to the Fort East Martello Museum, where Robert now resides, report eerie happenings. Cameras malfunction, strange tapping sounds echo through the room, and some claim to have seen the doll's expression change right before their eyes. It is said those who mock or disrespect Robert often find themselves falling victim to misfortune. Many who visit are careful to ask permission before snapping a photo, just in case. Our journey would be incomplete without a visit to Cassadaga, Florida, a small town known as the psychic capital of the world. Founded in the late 1800s by George Colby, a spiritualist from New York, the town has drawn believers and skeptics alike with its reputed supernatural activity. Stories of specters and ghostly apparitions are common here, but none more so than the legend of Devil's Chair. This stone bench in the local cemetery is said to be a portal to another dimension. Locals recount tales of hearing whispers emanating from the stone, tales so moving they are compelled to leave offerings. It's said those who are brave enough to sit and wait through the stroke of midnight may find themselves in conversation with spirits from this world or the next. Shifting to the bustling city of Miami, we find ourselves at the Biltmore Hotel, a stately landmark with a notorious past. Built in 1926, this hotel served as a makeshift hospital during World War II and was the scene of an unsolved mob shooting. Guests and staff frequently report strange occurrences, doors opening and closing on their own, lights flickering without cause, and ghostly apparitions wandering the halls. Many suggest that the spirit of Thomas "Fatty" Walsh, a mobster who was gunned down within the hotel, remains tethered to the lavish building, unwilling to leave his haunt. One can't help but wonder if his spirit is reliving the last moments of his life or possibly overseeing the guests from beyond. Finally, let us turn our attention to Pensacola's Seville Quarter. A vibrant entertainment venue today, it harbors a past tinged with spectral sightings. Built on the site of an old boarding house, Seville Quarter is frequented by a ghostly woman in a Victorian dress known as Molly. Molly's story is shrouded in mystery. Some assert she lived in the boarding house, waiting forever for a lost love who never returned, while others suggest she met a tragic end during a fire that swept through downtown. Molly appears to be a friendly spirit, often seen sipping a drink at the bar or wandering the corridors, reminiscent of times long past. Staff and patrons alike have felt gentle touches and sudden temperature drops as evidence of Molly's presence, leaving them both perplexed and fascinated. Georgia, in the heart of the American South, where Spanish moss drapes from ancient oak trees and history is as deep as the Savannah River, lies Georgia, a state brimming with tales of the supernatural. In today's video, we will journey into the mysterious realm of Georgia's most spine-chilling ghost stories. These true-life encounters have been passed down through generations, and their haunting narratives continue to captivate both locals and visitors alike. Our journey begins in the charming city of Savannah, often credited as one of the most haunted cities in America. The city is the very definition of Southern Gothic, with its historic homes and eerie graveyards. One of the most notorious sites is the old Sorrelweed House, a location steeped in stories of tragic deaths and unrequited love. Built over 175 years ago, this striking mansion has witnessed more than its fair share of tragedy. Guests have often reported seeing shadowy figures drifting through the halls and hearing disembodied voices in empty rooms. The legend goes that Matilda Sorrel, the wife of the original owner, took her own life after discovering her husband's affair. Her sorrowful spirit is said to linger, manifesting her pain to those who dare to enter after dark. Then, our spectral journey takes us to Augusta, where the haunting chronicles of the Bon Air Hotel still resonate today. This grand establishment, built in the late 19th century, provided reprieve for the rich and famous escaping harsh northern winters. However, tales of a ghostly woman in white drifting through the corridors have become a part of its notorious lore. Witnesses recount seeing her silently gliding, leaving behind a chill in the air and an unsettling presence that raises the hair on the arms of even the most skeptical guests. Some say she searches for her lost lover, forever trapped in a loop of eternal longing. Next, we arrive at the gates of Moon River Brewery in Savannah, yet another location steeped in ghostly lore. Constructed in 1821, this building's past is marred by the scars of the Civil War and stories of violence. During the war, it functioned as a hospital, and the echoes of that tumultuous time seem to reverberate through its walls. Employees and patrons alike have witnessed bottles levitating and glasses crashing to the floor with no logical explanation. It's said that the cellar, with its dark corners and sudden temperature drops, holds the spirit of a long-deceased man known as Toby, whose fierce anger tends to manifest in poltergeist-like activities. Further north in Atlanta, we come across the famed Oakland Cemetery, established in 1850. This isn't just any cemetery, but a resting place that tells the tale of Atlanta's growth and transformation. Here, amongst the magnolias and towering tombstones, are spirits rumored to roam freely. The cemetery's most famous specter is that of Margaret Mitchell, author of Gone with the Wind. Visitors have reported sudden unexplained gusts of wind and the feeling of being watched, claiming that her spirit walks the grounds, observing the city she so vividly captured in her novel. Finally, our voyage brings us to a lesser-known, yet profoundly haunted location, the Georgia Guidestones, often called America's Stonehenge, located on the highest point in Elbert County. Erected in 1980, the stone's enigmatic inscriptions and origins have attracted mystery seekers and conspiracy theorists alike. Over the years, visitors have reported strange occurrences, such as eerie whispers carried by the wind and mysterious figures flitting between the stone monoliths at dusk. Thank you for joining us on this spine-tingling journey through the United States' haunted past, and let us know in the comments. Which stories did you know already? Which story did you like the best? And what states are you looking forward to hearing about? Please enjoy another video. And, as always, have a spooky night.